Welcome to the 9/11 lesson. I'm Haskiri Velazquez, and today I'm going to be reading you Never Forget 9/11, Love Always Wins, presented by Global Game Changer Student Empowerment Program, written by Sammy Lee and illustrated by Scott Soder. I am honored to be reading this book to you. Pia waved. "Nice graffiti, Jaden," she called. Jaden grinned. "Getting some footage, Pia?" he asked. "See, I'm making a 9/11 documentary," she said. As a global game changer, Pia always encouraged people to use their talents and their hearts to make a difference in the world. To be everyday superheroes. Pia tripped over a crack in the sidewalk and sighed. "I'm glad Krumi isn't around. I'm too clumsy to defeat him alone." The global game changers always fought their nemesis together. Pixel growled. Their nemesis, Krumi, a dark cloud of apathy, sucked the warmth straight out of people's hearts. When he was around, no one cared about anything. Pia pointed her video camera towards two huge square pools, each one stretched wider than GGC headquarters. Pixel barked. "Shh, silencio," Pia scolded. "We must be respectful. See all those names around the pools? Those are some of the people who lost their lives on this very day in 2001. And do you see that tree?" Pia pointed to a calorie pear tree surrounded by a protective circle of steel. "That tree is a symbol of hope. It survived when the Twin Towers fell." Pia paused her camera and frowned. She'd read about the day angry people hijacked planes and flew them into two massive buildings filled with people. 9/11 changed the world forever, Pixel. I can't imagine anyone not caring about that day. We must remember so nothing like that ever happens again, she said. Pixel whined. "Oh, don't worry," Pia scratched his head. "We've made lots of changes to protect our country since then. Let's go to the museum next. Vamos!" Pixel trotted after Pia. But when they reached the entrance, a man held up his hand. "Sorry, miss," he said. "No dogs allowed." Pia frowned. "Pixel, can you wait here for me?" Pixel wagged his tail. "Gracias," she said. "I'll be out soon." Pia descended into the dark, hushed museum. Pictures flashed around her, highlighting the day the Twin Towers came crashing down. Survivor stairs climbed the quiet space beside Pia's stairway. She flipped on her video camera. First responders guided thousands of people down these stairs to safety, she narrated. Pia scanned the stairs, whole at the top, but crumbled and battered towards the bottom. How brave they must have been. Pia lowered her camera, swallowing tears. Pia filmed big steel squares that looked like stamps glued to the cement in the floor. These steel squares once reached high up into the sky, forming box columns that supported the buildings, she said. How strong they must have been. She filmed a firehouse garage door with a mural honoring 8 brave firefighters who died that day. Stars dotted the blue door, beside the American flag blowing in the painted breeze. She filmed a twisted fire truck destroyed when the towers collapsed. The words "Ladder 3" survived the crash, strong and bold beneath an eagle's wing. She filmed photos of dusty scenes, people helping people, some in uniform, some not. All of them heroes. Pia exited the museum, head down. She wanted to hug Pixel. Pia scanned the block. Pixel?" she called. She heard a distant bark. Pia ran to the north pool. The woman shuffled away, her photo fluttering away in a gust of wind. The boy wandered off, his flower blowing to the ground in the breeze. It was as if no one cared about 9/11 anymore. As if no one cared? Krumi. "Pixel!" Pia shouted. He darted by, barking at the departing crowd. Then Pia saw Jaden, trailing a line of black chalk behind him. straight toward the survivor tree. Krumi loomed above him. "It's just a tree," he thundered. "Who cares about one little tree?" Pia trembled. She needed her team. How could she stop Jaden by herself? And all these other people? How could she possibly get them to care about 9/11 again? Alone? Pia's heart pounded as Jaden inched closer and closer to the survivor tree, the black line growing longer and longer until... That's it! Pia squared her shoulders and grabbed the cans of colorful chalk Jaden had left behind. "Pixel, can you slow him down?" Pixel barked and tugged Jaden's pant leg. Pia ran ahead, began spraying the sidewalk. Right in front of the survivor tree. S-T-R. Krumi laughed. "Ha ha ha! You can't stop me without your team," he shouted. Pia froze. Her letters jagged this way and that. Chalk blobs caked the sidewalk and coated her clothes. Maybe Krumi was right. Maybe she couldn't do it. Jaden lifted his can of black chalk. "No!" She had to try. With one last swoop, Pia completed her word, strength. Slowly, Jaden's eyes scanned the graffiti. "Who cares about the survivor tree?" Krumi shouted. "Spray it!" "This is your talent," Pia said. Jaden blinked. "Don't listen to her," Krumi screamed. "You are just one boy. What difference can you possibly make?" Jaden sighed and pointed his can at the tree. "Jaden!" Pia stepped in front of the can. "You create graffiti because you care. This is your heart. Your talent plus your heart equals your superpower." He locked eyes with Pia and nodded. In one swift movement, she tossed him 2 cans of colored chalk and grabbed 2 for herself. Together, they turned Krumi into a rainbow cloud that lit up the sky. The fog of apathy began to lift. Just then, Krumi grinned and floated towards the south pool. "Oh no," Jaden cried. "The chalk, it'll wash off in the pools." Pia's cape fluttered in the breeze. "I know what to do," she said. "Jaden, create a message on the side of that building. Go!" Jaden got to work. The skies darkened again. Pia flew up beside the Freedom Tower, flipped open her video camera, and projected her footage onto the side of the building. A crowd began to gather below. Footage of pools, the stairs, the fire truck, and then the people. The dusty crowds of people and all the first responders who helped that day. Finally, Pia turned her lens to Jaden's artwork. Pia heard the crowd's collective gasp. She held her breath as everyone gathered closer, clasping hands. Slowly, the silence morphed into a chorus of quiet chants. Never forget. Never forget. Never forget. "You see?" Pia shouted. "You see all these people? They care, Krumi. They cared back then and they still care today. You are the one who cannot win. You cannot beat love." "Pia!" Pia jumped at the sound of her name. Acer, Global Girl, Moxie, IQ, and Little Big Heart flew straight toward her, smiles wide. "Scout notified me that Krumi was here. We came as fast as we could," Acer said. "You did it, Pia," Moxie cheered. "You see, you're stronger than you thought." Pia glanced from friend to friend, then flew back down to the ground. She took Jaden's hand and smiled. Aren't we all? Thank you for watching Never Forget 9/11. Love always wins. This story means a lot to me because I grew up right here in New York, close to the major impact site of the terrorist attacks 20 years ago, and where this book takes place. I also love how Pia and Jaden used their talents to banish Krumi and show that love always wins. Whether it's the terrorist attacks of 9/11 or a challenge you face in your own life, I want you to know that you will recover, just like New York City did, just like Jaden did, and that love will always win out over hate. I know how you can help defeat Krumi like Pia and Jaden and reach your full hero potential by honoring the heroes who rushed in to save the day on 9/11. Global Game Changers believes that no matter who you are, where you come from, or how old you are, you can use your unique GGC equation, my talent plus my heart equals my superpower, to make a difference in the world. This book is dedicated to every first responder, military member, and everyday citizen who lost their life or was injured on or in response to 9/11, and their loved ones who selflessly sacrificed to protect the liberty and freedom of all Americans. Global Game Changers and AmeriCorps, with your help, is committed to ensuring that they will never be forgotten.